So I'm Talisha, and I'm here with
Katia, aka Real Vegan 29.
okay. So Katia and I has exchanged a few messages in the DMs, and what I like about Katia is she's very passionate about what she's passionate about. She's very expressive, and some things we agree on, and some things we don't. And one thing that we have kind of I'm not gonna say opposing, but different views on is marriage. And so can you give like your insight, like how do you feel like overall about marriage, like a general idea, like
Okay, I feel like marriage, it could be something that's beautiful if people see eye to eye and it's a genuine thing and there's no like, I know marriage, like, oh, people come together to help each other, but there's always one person that's like very needy, and then there's always one person that's very independent. You have codependent, and then you have independent, and
right.
People get drained. But I feel like marriage is more so like a document to say that you belong to me, and people really take that out of context.
Right.
And so you may have people that just they come together and it's like, I'm here, I'm waiting for the wedding, and they really don't see the depths, try to see the depths of a person to truly figure out, hey, how do this person need to be loved? What is this person routine? People don't take that time to really study a person. And therefore, once the honeymoon phase dies down after the marriage, one person is looking at the person like, I didn't sign up for this, even though it's a contract to say, if I die, you'll get my money,
Right.
And vice versa, or the lack thereof, a person that ain't got nothing, they just take it all, or put a little arsenic in your coffee in the morning sometime. I'm not saying I watch too much ID. I've watched it with a person that liked to watch a lot, but
yeah.
So I think marriage, it just depends if you have two genuine people that really are interested in building a legacy, versus people that are like, well, I'm gonna use the hell out of this person, and I'm not gonna be who I truly am until I get married, because when I am who I truly am, when I'm married to this person, they have to deal with me. And you have certain people that are disingenuous with their intentions in that marriage. But I do feel like marriage is a scam. There's like there's a spectrum of a scam of it. So it's whether you're genuine or disingenuous about it, it's a little scam in between there. And I'm like,
You view it from that point. I view it as the opposite, right? So you go in with that, it's like possibly a scam. These people, didn't take the time, and I view it as the opposite. Like, I'm under the assumption, like, yes, they decided to get married. They must have, got to know each other. They must have, learned each other, triggers and red flags. And so, for me, it's like, I'm not gonna say like, I don't know, real shit happens. I don't know people, but I just, I try to like assume like everything's sweet. Yeah. I just try to like, oh, they're gonna, they can work through anything. Like, I'm gonna work through anything type of person, which is also a flaw. Cause sometimes I'm like, I see flags and I'm like, is this me being a Virgo, or is this real life issue? And so I could see it from your point of view, but I don't know. I try to believe that, things are sweet most of the time. People are sweet.
That's good. It's like you give people a chance, and it's not like a biased thing. With me, I do give. I'm sorry, go ahead. You about to say.
I think I asked this question one time, and it was, and I don't know, I think I know how you answered, and it was, are you trust someone until they give you a reason not to trust you, or you don't trust them until which one were you? I think you answered this question. Like, do you automatically trust people?
I watch people, not saying that I'm watching them with the intent for them to do something opposing to what I'm like totally against, but it's like, I see a person for what they give to me. And I have, like, I don't even want to say I have a hope that they won't disappoint me.
Right.
But I genuinely try to see a person for what they give to me. And then if they're talking negative self-talk, like, okay, for example, it was nothing romantic with this individual. But they was like, I'm an asshole. And I guess I was like, why are you trying to give yourself off to me like you're a butthole, like for you to try to protect yourself? She was like, no, I'm an asshole and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't see that. And then so she showed that to me because it was some stuff that happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, she really is an asshole. But I know we're talking about marriage and romance, but I'm just giving that example of like, okay, you know, I see she was giving negative self-talk about herself. And I was like, well, no, maybe it's a defense mechanism. And she's like, no, it's no defense mechanism. I'm really an asshole. But she proved to me what she was. But I wasn't disappointed. I was just like, wow, she really is an asshole. Like, I checked it, I stamped it. I questioned it in myself, but I questioned it out loud to her instead of just holding it in, you know what I mean? Because some people do try to protect themselves with, you know, I'm this way, I'm that way, blah, blah, blah. But
the disclaimer, like, she knew how she was, and she was like, when I'm an asshole, I told you up front I was an asshole, so don't be surprised. You feel like it was that, or it's definitely a defense mechanism?
It was that. It was the disclaimer.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it was kind of a mix of that, because to me, some people show their sweeter side versus the opposing side of what they don't want you to see. Yeah. And I feel like that would happen a lot in marriage, in the courting, in the dating phase and all that stuff before marriage. You know, people show the sweet side, and some people don't give you that disclaimer.
Right.
But I see people as they are. I used to, you know, be somewhat like, oh yeah, you know, I'm trying to see the good in everybody. But if you live longer. Like, I'm 33, you know, and the longer you live, it's just like, dang, you know, I really got to take these blinders off, because I'm constantly always getting hurt by the expectation in my head of an individual. And so when I stopped giving people that power over me mentally, right, as far as like, you know, they're not going to do anything wrong, or I have the best hope for them. And once you release that, as far as like having a neutral sense of like, it could either go this way, say this is the neutral, you know what I mean? And then right here, you still, in between, you have the hope that they won't do anything bad to you, or won't show that negative side, or won't be that asshole. And then right here, you have like the actual person. Right. So over time, all this starts splitting up. And then you just run away, and then they still here, and they're like, what happened?
See, it's so interesting, because you see, so you use this here, and then over time you went here. But in my mind, over time we just keep getting closer, baby, and that's it. There's no, so it's like, I don't know. Maybe I am kind of, I don't know. I just like
if it works for you, it works for you. You know? But I do believe that you can have hope that, you know, people won't disappoint you. But at the same time, when they do disappoint you, you can have the alternative, like, okay, you disappointed me, we can work this out, we can continue to build relationships. I see that dynamics as well. But you know, it's hard to do that with a person that doesn't see the opportunity of growing with you and saying, let's build this relationship. Because a lot of people get offensive, whether it's romance, whether it's friendship, whatever, parenthood, whatever, you know, people get offensive when you bring something to their attention that you deem to be like questionable, like, what you do that for? Why did you talk to me like that? You know, what you said kind of offended me, and then they get offended because you bringing something. They gaslight you. People, sometimes they gaslight you. Because that's human nature sometimes, to get offended when you bring something. So it just depends on, you got to know what kind of apple or animal you're working with, because people are animals.
I got a scenario for you. You get a partner, love of your life. You're smitten. You're all positive thoughts. Nothing can go wrong. And things are going well. And she says she has to have that document to say you two were married. Like, she's perfect. Like, there's no issues, but she just need that document to say that you guys are married. What are you doing? Like, it's ultimatum at this point. Like, what are we doing?
My question is like, it ain't going good right now. So what's the intention of after we get married? And I know we've been together for 100 years.
Yeah.
But not like, I feel like us where, okay, I'll give you something that recently happened. My mother and father, my mother told me that they was going to a wedding on the May I think 20th. And so anyway, my mother's older cousin has been with his girlfriend for like over 40 years. He had a health scare. He went running. He had a health scare. He didn't have a heart attack, but it was borderline a stroke, and he fell out in the middle of the street. And so all of a sudden, he's getting married to this woman after 40 years, but they've been together all this time. And so that's kind of confirms for me that, because if you have all this money saved up, this is where the financial part comes in place. When you have all this money saved up, your money can either go back into the government, back wherever, if you don't have a will or anything written. So he probably like, well, if anything, if I die, my time is probably coming soon, knock on wood. Right. I don't want to wish anything like that. I'm just speaking,
right.
And it at least go to her, this woman that I've been with for years, and she deserves it. I feel like the fear of that for him played a big role. But for me, I would be like, I would probably, if you're dead, you're dead,
Even past financial, there's certain benefits of being married to someone. Like, I'm not gonna say benefits, but things that they're like, are you a spouse? Are you feeling like something? When things do happen like that, and your partner shows up and she gets no say, no nothing, because even though you want to be with her for the rest of your life, she gets no say, no rights in this because you two are not married, and that's beyond financial. So I do feel like, it's just paper, right? It's just
and you're playing devil's advocate.
I'm just saying,
hopefully my mom and my daddy's still alive, or my sister's still alive to put that on it. But my sister knows that if I'm, bedridden and I can't talk or move, paralyzed, and all I could do is have a tear come down my eye, I told her,
yeah,
go, because I don't want to live like that. But I see what you're saying. I really do.
Because I get sad because, I'm gonna say it's sad, but I laugh because I like read this on Instagram somewhere, but like I'm tired of putting my mama down for my like emergency contact and everything. Like, it's weird. So all right. So my next question is, what do you
I got a question though. I mean, I have a question. So if if I wrote a will early on, I still have some type of control, right? So that's another way around it.
But in my
mind, you like to tell you butthole.
In my mind, you would be so like, that's the thing. You have to think the deepest amount of love that you could have. Like, you never loved someone so much. You never felt someone was so perfect for you. Like, you don't even want to go around. You trust that she has your best intention. Like, it's magical. I love magic, by the way. It's magical. Yeah. All right.
I'm listening. I'm listening. And
so
it's magic. Yep.
What is the worst thing you feel could happen in a marriage? Like, what's the worst thing you feel could happen in your marriage? Like, if you got married, what is the worst thing? Like, what makes you, like, besides that thing you said before, you're married now, say you have a person, and what's the worst thing you feel could happen within that space?
Not being seen, heard, and respected after being vulnerable. That's a big fear of mine, because my background and how I grew up, vulnerability was joked about. Your vulnerability was joked about. And that's something that I'm still working through with therapy. I'm not ashamed to say I go to therapy. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's good for, your maintenance. I mean, therapy is not, it doesn't heal anything. It's like a updating in your operating system, your iPhone. It just, every time you're presented with the same hurts, or similar, you can always refer back to what you learned to deal with it better. So that's growth. But so that vulnerability and it being joked about, and not being seen and heard, and not respected because of the vulnerability, is one of my biggest fears.
Got it. All right.
Within a marriage.
Is that any relationship you have, even if not, like even with friendship and stuff like that, do you tend to, of course, people want people they can be themselves to be vulnerable. So is that a major thing in only like intimate relationship, or is that important to you as well, in like friendships and stuff like that?
Friendship and everything.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in order for a person to truly see you as you are, you have to be in a safe space to do that. Meaning that the person knows, okay, well, I know this I'm a person that jokes. I don't know, if you can already tell that. But there's certain things you just don't intentionally dig at once you find out certain things about a person. Don't dig when it's convenient for you to dig at a person. That's a boundary for me. That's like, nah, because I don't do that with a person. Like if you tell, like we can joke all day and all night, but don't dig. I'm not going to dig at your hurts, your wounds, your whatever. If anything, I'll try to lift you up. Say I ain't no saint, if I have to come back and apologize for something I said unintentionally, you know what I mean? And vice versa, that's different. I'll be like, all right. But if people continuously do those digs, it's only so many times you can apologize. Change behavior, of course, is the best. The best apology or the best behavior. Yeah.
So my next question is, what's the best thing that could happen in a marriage? The best thing.
Wow. The best thing that could possibly happen in a marriage is continual growth. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, by yourself and with another person and with that person you're married to. So you're doing your thing for your healing and your whatever, and they're doing their thing for their healing and everything. And then when you and her come together, you can be present for each other.
Right.
Because that's where I know people ain't gonna be 100% all the time. So if she's off and I'm like, I just had my therapy going like, yeah, baby, what's like, oh, you all right? Come here. You know what I mean? That's what like the dynamics of, that the ping pong effect, I use a lot of analogies, you know what I mean? The ping pong effect come into play, so where one person is not too, codependent upon a person, or, and the person is not like, the other person is not like all drained because they're always the strong one.
Yeah.
And of course, people are going to operate more so in one energy than the next. So if I'm more so masculine and she's more so feminine, that balance of energy, like if I'm feeling a little more feminine in whatever area and that I'm dealing with in my life, and she's okay to be like, all right, I got you too. That is beautiful to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the respect behind it, after they see you at your worst, they're not going to keep digging a ditch for you. And they be like, it makes them love and respect you more and you love and respect them more when at all levels of, you know, that work and all levels of that respect in that work and all levels of. All right, yeah.
It's the first time I didn't got you with you was off your soft shit right there. I was like,
yeah, I was
actually got you.
But with the tailbird over is that,
I got you. I was like, okay. All right. All right. So my final question is, what's your sign?
Sagittarius, but I have a lot of Capricorn. I have dominant in my birth chart. I have Capricorn dominant in my birth chart, and I have some Taurus, and I have like Virgo and Scorpio, and like one Aries. But Capricorn is my dominant in my birth chart.
Okay.
But I'm a Sagittarius.
All right.
On paper.
All right. Is there anything that you want to say?
I would like to say thank you for finding me, I guess, interesting enough or intriguing enough to want to you know, speak to me in this regard. You know, I do a lot of magical stuff with my hands, you know. I talk with my hands. But yeah, I look forward to continuing you know, you picking my brain and, you know, vice versa, because that does help in growth and maturity within a person. And I know I still got a lot to learn and grow from, and, you know, and we all do. Yep. So thanks for playing devil advocate with my I guess we all have limiting beliefs or whatever, but with my limiting beliefs or my unconscious biases, thank you for playing devil advocate. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, because that truly helps people grow.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be as interesting if we both had the same, like believe the same thing. It just would be us talking about going back and forth saying the same thing. And so I do, that's why I was like, wow, she's like but yeah, I enjoy talking to you, even offline. I enjoy talking to you like on Instagram and stuff. So thanks for doing this super early. I know you wanted to do it in the afternoon, but it's done now. All done.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
All right. No problem. All right.